Okay.
So a lot of people are saying, which I also think, is that he was doing a bad Elmer Fudd impression.
Wouldn't he have said that?
I mean, maybe, but it's like maybe he should have been like, like Elmer.
I would imagine the reason why Jack Morris did not say he was doing an Elmer Fudd impression is because he wasn't, so that's why he didn't think of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, man, that makes sense. He's not quick off the top like me or you, or even if you did and then you realize you're being bad on national TV.
I don't want to hold Jack Morris. Well, let's play it first and then I'll talk about it. So Jack Morris, announcer for the Detroit Tigers. He pitched on that 84, I think, Detroit Tiger World Series winning team. And he was on a lot of teams. I think he was with the White Sox for a while. He pitched for a long time. Blackjack, they called him, which I bet that's probably he shouldn't go with that nickname at the moment.
No.
Yeah.
Now he's Simple Jack.
So Simple Jack, let's go ahead and listen. So what happens here is Shohei Ohtani's up to bat. They're playing in Detroit, and here's Jack Morris.
It's a close game, so they're like,
yeah,
what
that's
are you going to do with Shohei Ohtani here?
Now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani?
Be very, very careful.
Had you not heard it yet?
I heard it, but it's just okay. It's one of those things where it's like, let's say if for some reason,
before we get into it, should we
had a
listen to his
bigger
apology?
What? The apology. I heard play the apology.
By the way, good job on the play-by-play announcer to stay out of it. Also, I think we should probably no longer call these guys the color commentators.
No, you got to. The changes are coming.
It's been brought to my attention, and I sincerely apologize if I offended anybody, especially anybody in the Asian community, for what I said about pitching and being careful to Jose.
He's got a knife to his throat right now. And then they cut in the other guy's long drive to left field by Castellanos. So, okay, so then good job on the other guy for staying out of it. But it's also like, if we had a bigger platform and people would be replaying this back, why are they laughing? And it's like, I'm not laughing because it's funny that he's racist. I'm laughing because it is so outrageous.
I'll tell you what I'm laughing at.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
I envy these guys who have enough money and are old enough to be completely unplugged from the social currents. Like, how do you exist in America right now and not get that doing a Chinese voice is going to get you in some hot water? I realize I live in a comedy bubble, and I'm half that guy's age, a little bit more than that, but still close to half that guy's age. But let's be real. Like I can't imagine. Like, I'm not saying that I want to be a guy who thinks it's cool to make Chinese voices. I was already born that way, but I'm just saying. What I'm saying is just like, he doesn't know anything about the Stop Asian Hate thing, clearly, or like absorb nothing. So what's funny to me. Like, this has been nonstop down our throats. Not in I don't mean like I'm sick of it. I'm just saying, like, how do you miss this whole last year?
Yeah, and his apology, people are even mad at his apology because he says that if he offended anybody.
Well, 1 in 5 of the world is Chinese. I'm sure a few of them would laugh at that, you know. But again,
absolutely,
he doesn't know how the apologies are supposed to go. These people are getting mad at him because he hasn't been trained, because he doesn't live online the way other people do. And I'm not defending him at all, but I'm saying, because you watch it and you go, yikes, this guy doesn't know what's going on.
That's why it's funny, is because he's so out of touch, and it's crazy that he would do that on national television.
Remember the Cincinnati Reds guy who's exactly a hot mic situation, which means he knows better, and he was trying to not send that.
Yes, but if this was a hot mic situation, it would have been a lot worse, and he would have.
Well, it would have been a lot worse because he would have known it was wrong. Which this guy, like, he's gotten to he's a 66-year-old white guy who's been a professional athlete. His entire adult life, he was a professional athlete. He didn't learn any of that. It's like how Devin Funches, when we covered last week,
Yeah, that he just really didn't know. Which I understand where you're coming from there, but then what about whenever Miles Leonard went crazy on Twitch and dropped the big K, and then he said he didn't know what that meant?
He's too young.
I think that's not true. He's too young to make that excuse.
Well, listen, I think that like if you ask Devin Funches what that word means, he would be like, "Oh, it's a nick." He'd probably say a nickname. Like he probably wouldn't say a slur, but he was, "Oh, it's like a nickname for like Asian people." Yeah. Like he would know roughly the neighborhood of what that word means. Miles Leonard pretending.
Yeah, well, even Miss Pat, because she has her show coming out, was on a bunch of podcasts this week, and she's talking about how like some of the episodes of her shows, they're dealing with stuff like that, where she doesn't even realize that she's being racist, but that's just how she.
Yeah,
grew
I mean,
up
she
talking,
raised
so she
herself
has no idea
in the hood of Atlanta, like.
Yeah. Well, the story that she's telling on a bunch of podcasts is that she loved wrestling and kung fu movies, so she would walk around saying that she was going to Jap slap people, and then she would just call Japanese people Jap slaps.
Yeah,
but she just because in her mind she's like, yeah, it's a Japanese slap.
Right.
I'm gonna Japanese slap you, and so like then, but she like whenever she moved from Atlanta to Indiana, and her husband is like a more I guess worldly dude. It's like you can't say.
Oh yeah, no, she's got like a husband with a good job who's like worked his way up a corporate ladder of some sort. Yeah, because before she was making money in comedy, he was taking care of her. But I mean, this is like a thing that was specifically with the Asian stuff is that a lot of people don't understand the negative connotations of a positive stereotype. So like when you're telling Asians they all go to Harvard and they're brilliant and they're geniuses at math, people are like, well, what did I say? What's wrong with that? I'm saying you're smart. I'm saying you go to good schools, you're hard worker, you have high expectations. People don't understand like what that says to like the community college Chinese kid, you know, where he feels like a failure because his standard is so fucking high. You know what I mean? Like people don't understand there's negative connotations to even positive stereotypes where it's like, I just said you were good at karate. I don't understand. Like, you know what I mean?
You could honestly go to Jiffy Lubes and do conferences and put it into words that these guys would understand. You really should figure out some kind of corporate thing where you're doing basically the opposite of the opposite thing of critical race theory training, where you're just going to places like Jiffy Lube. Like you can't say they all go to Harvard.
The burden of high expectations will destroy the young man or young woman's self-esteem. You gotta understand.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, and it's I mean it's. I don't. What is he going for in that moment? Is he going for humor?
Clearly not going for like deep cutting, like Tim Kirkajan style baseball analysis. Like what else could he be going for? Yeah,
this
no,
is
he's
how I do
clearly
it.
going for humor. This guy was probably raised on Looney Tunes, like World War II racist Looney Tunes, like.
Yeah, I mean that's even what I was thinking.
Right, but it also sounds like the Japanese racist Looney Tunes cartoons they made during World War II. He would have said the V.
100% agree.
He wouldn't have said a B for the V if he was going for Elmer Fudd. Be very, very careful.
Yeah, it's close to Elmer Fudd, dude. He had an out, and he didn't use it.